Here's what I mean. If you look at the overload bulb, if I can get it in focus, the camera blows it out maybe as it's cooling, as it's heating and cooling. You can see it. It's just a little filament, and the camera, it's sort of just, it's very bright. But to your eye, it looks kind of like the filaments in a Nixie tube, which I think is really cool. So that's just I don't know if this is the same bulb they've always used. But it just feels like this one little bulb is a steampunk element on the synth, which, nerd. Okay, we're back. Sorry, it's still phone microphone, but the audio is being captured on the computer, so it should sound okay. Okay, more Minimoog exploration. Someone posted a question about how different is it sounding from the grandmother or any of the mother series. I don't have a grandmother, but I've got a matriarch over here. So what I'm doing, and this is not a scientific test, this is purely subjective of me just playing around. I got this little patch set up, right, that's driving the overdrive a little bit, maybe a touch more. There we go. And this is a 3 oscillator. It's saw, and then the thin square. Okay, and the middle saw is detuned. It's actually tuned up what is that? Yeah, that's a fifth. Little overonly heart for you there. And I was just trying to see if I can get the matriarch over here. Matriarch to sound like the Minimoog, and specifically around what does the overdriven sort of mixer filter sound like. And so what I've got here is the same thing, a similar thing, right? It's saw, and thin square, it's set at the same things. The mid saw is detuned, and then the mixer on the matriarch is everything's pegged. Okay, these are as overloaded as it will go, and it sounds pretty good. And I'm not here to say that one sounds better than the other. They sound different. That was the question, is like, do they sound, can you get that sound on the Minimoog sound on the matriarch? And I think you can. For some things, absolutely. Right, that's the sound of the mixer being overdriven. And if I go back over here, right, I've tried to set the volume levels about the same. They are different, but they're very, very close, right? So if you like this overdriven Moog sound, you don't have to have a Minimoog, right? You can do it with anything. Certainly you can do it with the mother and the matriarch. But subjectively, having the light up is cool. Anyway, let's see. What other little things have I discovered? Okay, I'm not doing, this isn't a review, and I'm not going to cover all the features because there's so many other people that are going to do that better, like Daniel Fisher, and I'm sure Lupop may get his hands on one of these or something like that. But I just wanted to show you a few things. So here's the CV outs, right? This is new, after pressure, right? Velocity. I don't know if the trigs were there on the previous edition, but after pressure and velocity are new, right? Which is nice. And I'm running the after pressure down into filter frequency, right? The labels are very old school, right? Loudness, right? So this is VCA output, oscillator tuning, and mod source. I haven't played with that at all yet. I'm going to figure that one out. But yeah. So, and there's 2 outputs on the back, a low and a high. This is for running, direct into your mixer or something like that. But if you're running into an amp that's expecting like, a guitar, that's what that's for, right? And then your external input signal. Let's see, what else? Let's see, someone else asked, again, about the distortion. People really like this overdrive. I certainly do. Now I'm gonna just crank it all the way and you'll hear what it's done to the sound. Right. So you can push it even further. And I think that's actually one of is a difference between the Minimoog and something like the mother, the grandmother, or the matriarch. These are pegged. I can't push this anymore. And so, whatever. I think this is meant to be smooth, right? I really think the mother sort of archetype from Moog is a smoother synth. All right, that's just my opinion, but I think these are smooth. I love them, and this one is just old school. I'm not going to say it was designed and meant to be a beast, but it certainly will do it. So anyway, that's another thought. Okay, so Berlin School, right? That's the focus of my channel, generally. Here's a Berlin School sort of bass. I've turned a delay on in Ableton. There's a few ducats for you, Mr. Raider. Okay, so let's try an ambient sort of lead. I've turned on the black hole reverb, I've got the delay running, and essentially this is just a little quiet lead. Having this extra LFO on the side is nice because you can dial in not just the mod with the mod wheel, but you can control the rate of the LFO with your finger. So you can bring in the LFO with the mod wheel, and you can also control its rate, which is nice. I mean, from a human, performance perspective. So, I don't know, I'm having a moment here. Sorry, let me come back from the depths of space. So that's the beast. All right, so I guess in closing, excuse me, I'm draining from that head cold. Oof. I guess I just want to address a couple or an elephant in the room. I have gotten a little flack for buying this because it's expensive. Well, sorry, but I didn't have a Minimoog, and I wanted a Minimoog from Moog, right? I know there's, clones out there similar, or, even products that are based on this, and then they add more features, and that's fine. And I'm not saying those things sound bad, but I wanted a Moog-made Minimoog, right? And, people are like, I've gotten something saying, oh, they outsource all their parts now, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, sure, but I don't care, right? I wanted this. And I'm not made of money. I'm certainly not rich. and I financed this thing. I'm making payments on it, right? And so it's not that it's out of reach of people. It's just that the final sum at the end of the duration of you paying for the thing, if that number is too high for you, yeah, that's fine. I'm not saying I'm better than. I'm not saying that something is inferior if it doesn't have the Moog label on it. I'm just saying I really wanted to add one of these to my collection. And at, 5 grand is a lot of money, but at the end of the day, it's still the cheapest way for me to get one of these, short of finding, one that's really beat up, and then having to repair it. And that's not necessarily cost effective either. So, that's my motivation on it. And that's about it. So I hope you've had fun listening to this. I think I'm just going to, incorporate this into my music making workflow. If you have any questions or things you want me to show you on this, I'll be happy to do that for you. Let me know in the comments. But there will be other people who give really detailed breakdowns of the new Minimoog. That's really not my bag. So, but if you want to know something specific or, off kilter, let me know and I'll consider it. And we'll see where we go from there. But with that, thanks a lot. You've been looking at the Minimoog Model D 2022 revision, and you've been watching it here on Synth Seeker. Have a great week.